Welcome everyone, I am the Depressed Eeyore, and this is Marvel Champions. We're going to be diving into the Rise of the Red Skull expansion, which introduces five new villains, a variety of new modules, and two new heroes. I believe it's Hawkeye and Spider-Woman, so I'll be using Spider-Woman, and then since she is a Avenger, I try to keep to the theme here, and I'm going to be using Wasp as her partner, who's also an Avenger. This expansion does include a campaign that starts with Crossbones and gradually makes its way to the Red Skull as the final encounter. And they do kind of do some stuff that will allow you to like tweak your deck and stuff as you kind of if you succeed on each of them. I think unlike Arkham Horror, if you fail a scenario, I think that's just it for that campaign. Which I guess makes sense. Another thing that's kind of neat about the book is it does introduce any of the new mechanics that are being, introduced. Also, the actual campaign has little comics that go between them, which is pretty cool. All right. I'm not going to be doing the campaign. I'll just be doing one-off scenarios. I'm honestly still very inexperienced with this game, and we'll just play as is. All right. Let's go ahead and talk about the heroes first. So we have Spider-Woman here. Jessica Drew, 3 recover, 11 HP, and 6 hand size. Her special ability is Double Agent. Oh, she's also Shield Spy. Double Agent, choose 2 aspects instead of 1 during deck building. You must include an equal number of cards from those aspects in your deck. And then her action ability is she can look at the top card of any deck, limit once per round. So you just look at it and then you just put it back. So it kind of gives you a sneak peek, either at what's coming from the encounter deck, or you can use it as an opportunity to look at someone's deck to see if it's actually worth like maybe risking a draw for. The aspect part is really interesting. It's one of the few opportunities where a character can actually have multiple aspects in their deck. For the 2 aspects I went with, in this case, it is Justice and Leadership. So I believe Justice is the one we haven't done yet, or one of the ones we haven't done yet. The one that we still haven't done at all is Aggression, which I tend to have a lot of difficulty actually playing. But Justice is generally one of my favorite ones. It's practically the Clover of Marvel Champions. It has a lot of stuff that involves getting rid of threat on the schemes and things like that. It also part of the reason I went with Leadership and Justice for Spider-Woman is those are the aspects that tend to have a lot of shield cards. So a lot of them that have the shield keyword. And of course, Jessica Drew herself is a shield agent as well. And it's kind of my first foray into like a more alter ego heavy character. Though Spider-Woman I tend to swap a lot just simply because her abilities are really, really good. But yeah, this is essentially my first foray into like a shield agent deck, which is things I like to mess around with. Now, one thing to note about this deck is it does have 41 cards, because the only way to make it 40 cards would be to get rid of certain basic cards, because I can't get rid of a Justice card or a Leadership card, because then they won't be even numbered anymore. One other thing to note about Spider-Woman is she does have her hero specific cards, but some of those hero specific cards are also aspect cards. So she actually has 2 of every color as hero cards. So she has Contaminant Immunity as protection. She has Inconspicuous for justice. She has Venom Blast for aggression, and then she has Pheromones for leadership. And there's a reason why she has all these colors, and that has to do with the other side of her hero side. So she has once in all of her stats. And she's an Avenger spy, so no longer a shield agent. She has ability Superhuman Agility. Interrupt. When you play an aspect card, Spider-Woman gets +1 thwart, attack, and defense until the end of the round. Limit once per round for each aspect. So more than likely, you're going to easily get, since she already has like 2 aspects, you'll generally get +2, +2, +2 on everything, which will be pretty helpful. But if you do somehow get the Wombo combo and get all 4 colors in one round, you can essentially hit or thwart for 5. You can also defend for 5 if you really need to. So kind of the general idea, like the basic idea for Spider-Woman is to get, of course, out cheap aspect cards to get the buff, Now, granted, you have to be in hero form while doing it, because otherwise you don't get the buff. So you go to the hero form when you're ready, throw out some cheap aspect cards, and then either thwart and hit a bunch of times using a combination of self-propelled glide to get additional ready actions. She does have some ways to get additional resources. One thing to note about Finesse, though, is it only provides resources for aspect cards, and it can only be used while in hero form. She does have a unique ally, which is Captain Marvel. So one thing to note is if you happen to be teaming up with Captain Marvel as a player, you won't be able to use this card as much. Captain Marvel, if you do get her out, is actually rather good. The biggest issue, of course, is she's cost 4 to get out. But if you get her out, she essentially does pretty good thwarting and attacking while giving you additional card draw. And then besides that, we just have a large variety of ally shield agents. So every single ally we have is a shield agent with the exception of Captain Marvel. And then we have a lot of upgrades and support cards that are also shield related. And then we have a variety of justice cards that can exhaust our various shield cards to do additional things. Which could be very helpful if she's in alter ego form, because you can actually exhaust her because she's shield to activate some of these effects or buff it or make it stronger. All right, so that is it for Spider-Woman. Let's go ahead and talk about the Wasp. So the Wasp I don't really have very much experience with. I played her once while on one of my scrapped runs for this battle in particular. So the way she works is she is 3 recovery, 11 HP, 6 hand size. She's a genius in alter ego form, Nadia von Dine, or Deans, however you should pronounce it. Her special ability is Girl, which sounds very funny if you're just listening to this. Action: shuffle up to 2 cards with a printed genius resource from your discard pile into your deck, limit once per round. She also, of course, has some flavor text, which is Girl is dedicated to finding brilliant women who will not only save the world but change it. So very helpful. This effect gets stronger as you get further through your deck, because then you can essentially just keep recurring cards. And in any sort of living card game, if you have recursion, you're in a good place usually. Now, one thing to know about her hero form is she actually has 2 hero forms. And the way you can choose whenever you are changing forms, using your once per round change form. Usually it's between your hero form and your alter ego, but for Wasp you can actually go from hero form to either tiny or giant form, or if she's in any of those states, she could actually go between them. So if she wants to, she can go giant form into tiny form and vice versa. In both cases they're both Avengers, and Tiny has 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 defense, and the special ability is Small but Mighty. After Wasp or in an event you play defeats an enemy minion or side scheme, you deal 1 damage to the villain. And the quote, of course, is you should learn to play nice. And then her giant form, she has 2 thwart, 2 attack, and 3 defense. And for both, whenever she is thwarting, the threat you remove using your basic thwart power can be divided amongst schemes as you choose. And then when she attacks with the basic attack power, the damage she does can be split. Divided amongst the enemies as you choose. So essentially, she can spread her damage out. You're all so cute and so tiny and cute. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned it with Spider-Woman, but for both Wasp and Spider-Woman in their hero form, they have 5 hand size. So the biggest transition I noticed when I mentioned I did a bunch of these videos and then ended up scrapping them because of rules mistakes. The biggest change between going from She-Hulk and Captain Marvel to these types of characters is the 11 HP and the 3 recovery. We're definitely a lot squishier in this. Anyway, as for what aspect I'm going with for Nadia here, I do have a deck that's Justice related that tends to lean heavily towards Alter Ego, but since I'm already using Justice, I went ahead and opted for Protection. So a lot of her protection cards just revolve around just tanking hits for the most part. And then as for her cards themselves, they tend to do various effects depending on what state she is in. So if she's in tiny form or giant form, it can do variety of effects. She even has a unique resource card that does that can heal her if she's in giant form, or allow her to draw cards if she's in tiny. And then the rest of it is pretty standard stuff. You'll probably see a few different cards compared to She-Hulk, so hopefully you'll get some enjoyment out of that. But for the most part, the big thing about her is having as many genius resources as possible. so she can fully take advantage of her alter ego ability, as well as there's also a number of other characters that get benefits for using genius resources. And then I think for the most part there's no overlap. Yeah, I don't believe there's any overlap for characters. She has some Avenger stuff, but no shield. Okay. So yeah, that is the gist of it. So and then let's go ahead and talk about obligations and villains, or sorry, nemesises, or whatever you call them. So for Nadia, for obligation, she has red dreams. You can flip to alter ego, and then you can exhaust it to get rid of it. Or you can discard each card with a printed genius resource from your hand and take 1 damage and then discard it. So needless to say, you want to just remove this from the game. As for her arch nemesis, it's Beetle, which has guard 4 HP and then 1 and 1. And then forced interrupt whenever Beetle is defeated. You choose to either spend a strength resource or you shuffle Beetle back into the encounter deck. To be honest, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, this is literally just a guard enemy. In fact, she's weaker than a guard enemy. I don't know too much about her side thing. Her side scheme, I think, is a little bit more dangerous, where it makes everything cost. It makes your basic attacks start costing things, which can be a little dangerous. That being said, it's actually kind of easy to get rid of. It only gets 2 threat per person. For Spider-Woman, she has uncertain loyalties for all obligation. You either have to alter ego and exhaust to get rid of it, or you can place 3 threat on the main scheme and discard, which 3 threat can be pretty expensive depending on what sort of main schemes you're dealing with here. For the most part, I'll probably just exhaust and just take the L. As for her nemesis, it is the Viper, 2/2 with 5 HP, and while she's engaged with you, you have reduced hand size, which that can actually be kind of annoying, but it's not the end of the world, and it's pretty easy to defeat her. It's time for you to come home, Jessica. And then, as for her other stuff, she will make more encounter cards come up, and it's again just going to be 4 threat in total, so not the end of the world. All right, let's go ahead and talk about our actual villain. We got Crossbones. Let's go ahead and set his HP correctly. It should be at 24. So he has 12 HP per player, 1 scheme, 1 attack, Hydra Mercenary. And while Crossbones has a weapon attachment, his attacks gain piercing, which allows him to essentially, usually when you have the tough status effect, you can just soak a hit for the most part. But if he has a weapon, he gets piercing, and what piercing does is not only do you lose the tough status effect, it still does damage to you. I consider myself a craftsman, and I specialize in destruction and terror. As for the setup, which I might as well do that now. Get the first player marker, shuffle these cards, and we're good to go. Yeah, we're good to go. All right. We got attack on Mount Athena. You have to have crossbows 1 and 2 in standard. You have to have crossbones, experimental weapons, and standard encounter sets, and then 3 modular encounter sets, which the recommended are Hydra Assault. It says Hydra Patrol, but that's a typo. So Hydra Assault, Weapon Master, and Legions of Hydra. So that is something that's really unique about Crossbones, is he gets 3 module sets, which means you can really customize them if you really want to. As for the recommendeds, they're all pretty brutal. Weapon Master, of course, gets him access to more attachment weapons, which of course will buff him, which will synergize as well with what he has. And then he has Hydra Assault and Legions of Hydra, both of which are really dangerous, especially Legions of Hydra. And then it says create the experimental weapons deck and set it next to the main scheme deck. So unlike the other things, the experimental weapons deck is actually set to a set aside and shuffled. And then there's a typo here with rulebook. Anyway, with that, we go ahead and go straight to 1B. Crossbones is leading an army of Hydra soldiers in a direct assault on Project Pegasus facility in the Adirondack Mountains. I don't know how to pronounce that. When revealed, reveal the top card of the experimental weapons deck. So we'll do that now. We got laser rifle, experimental weapon attached to the villain. Gives him +1 attack, and when the attached villain attacks, the attack gains ranged, which I don't know what that means. And then you can spend some hero actions and resources to get rid of it. So not only does he get +1 attack, but his attacks now have piercing. I wonder if range is actually in here. Range 29. Ranged. Okay. An attack with a ranged keyword ignores the retaliate keyword. Okay. Not a big deal. All right. Besides that, we'll go ahead and put in the rest of the counter set here. And I believe we have everything set up, so we'll go ahead and add in the obligations and shuffle. Oh, and as far as the main scheme, it's 6 to advance, starts at 0, and gains 2 every round. So that's what makes it kind of dangerous. It's not too bad by itself, but it can advance very easily. Thankfully, he only has one scheme, unlike freaking Ultron. All right. So with all that said and done, give me one moment. All right, let's get things started. I need to set my player color. I'll go red. All right. So we'll start with doing our mulligans and stuff. So we're going to draw 6 cards. All right. Don't want the strength in numbers. The surveillance team is nice, but we don't need it right now. I'm just seeing what I would get instead. I mean, getting Captain Marvel out sooner would be nice, but I don't think that's really in the cards here. We definitely want Jessica Drew's apartment. That'll help. Yeah, we'll go ahead and get rid of. We're gonna get rid of Captain Marvel for now, and we'll get rid of Surveillance Team. Pheromones is a really good card that can give us a little bit of buy us some time in the early game. All right, so yeah, we'll discard 3 cards and draw 3 cards. Okay, that works. So I can use that to get. I can use this to get out finesse. Use that to help me get out pheromones. Or get out Jessica Drew's apartment. Which, well, finesse won't be able to get me Jessica Drew's apartment, but it can get me the other stuff. All right. We'll take a look at Wasp over here. Deal the blue. All right. Wasp's helmet's good. Not a big deal. So what are the forms? I'm just making sure I did this. All right. 1, 1, 2, and then it's like 2, 2, 3. Yeah, 2, 2, 3. All right. Definitely don't need Karma right off the bat. And we don't really need Pinpoint Strikes right now. I'm kind of okay with keeping Clea for now. All right, let's see what we get. I'm not going to deal with Counterpunch has some potential, but not right now. All right, deal to you. All right. Okay. Definitely some choices. One thing I'm going to check real quick. Okay. So what we can do is, with Nadia's ability, we can get these Pinpoint Strikes back into the deck for later. All right. With that, we are good to go. So we're ready to begin. All right. So let's start with Spider-Woman. Let's... So I can take a look at the top card of the deck. In any deck, but that's not really going to help me right now. So let's go ahead and I think I need to go hero form already. I'm just kind of considering my options here. Alright, well, we definitely want to get rid of Self-Propelled Glide for now to get out Jessica Drew's apartment. All right, and then as an alter ego, I can exhaust Jessica Drew's apartment to search the top 5 cards of my deck for an aspect card and add it. So I will. Search top 5. All right. Out of these 5, definitely don't want the pheromones right now. And I don't really care about the inconspicuous, so let's take the inconspicuous and put it in our hand. Okay. All right. Actually, no, not the inconspicuous. Take that. Well, actually, it has to be an aspect card, so I can't take Self-Propelled Glide. What could I take instead? Okay, instead of the Self-Propelled Glide, I actually want to take Surveillance Team. Okay, and then we'll shuffle. All right. So, we'll go ahead and switch to, I'm going to go ahead and use her ability to take a look at the top card of Nadia's deck. All right, it is a giant help, which is fine. Okay, we'll go ahead and go to hero form. And then I'm going to go ahead and use strength to get out finesse. You don't yell Avengers Assemble every time we leave the house. All right, we're going to go ahead and exhaust it to get 1 wild. Yeah, and unfortunately I did miscount. That's unfortunate. Oh well. So yeah, we end up not needing the surveillance team. That's fine. And I can't do anything with the global logistics either. But that's all right. I'm going to go ahead and discard a surveillance team and play pheromones. So I'm going to get +1/+1/+1 because this is an aspect card. And what this will do, warn me before you use that power again, okay? Stuns and confuse the enemy. So it does both stun and confusion. And then we are good to go here. I am going to go ahead and attack for 2. Just because I can. All right. On to Nadia. Not my cleanest start, but it'll do. I'm going to go ahead and use her ability. We're just going to shuffle these back into the deck. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and flip to hero form, and I'm going to go giant. Oh, sorry. I'm going to go tiny. All right. So with a combination of wasping and pin particles, I'll get out tiny wasp helmet. Actually, no, sorry. With a combination of wasping and pin particles, I'm going to get out Ironheart. So pin particles, when you use this in tiny form, you get to draw a card, and then Ironheart, when you play her, you get to draw a card. So drawing 2 cards, 1 and 2. All right. Let's go ahead and use Moon Girl and Rapid Growth to get out the helmet. Says this, yeah, upgrade. So while in giant form, she gets +1 thwart, and while in tiny form, she gets +1 attack. And then I'm going to discard Clea to play electrostatic armor. Actually, we'll keep these down. Yeah, actually, it's fine here. I don't have any actual. I don't think I have ally-specific stuff. Electrostatic armor, armor tech. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. After you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So this is a way to do damage even while defending. All right, and then that is it. So I am going to go ahead and discard global logistics and draw 5 cards. This +1 stays until until the end of the round. So the end of the round is after the villain phase. All right. Not too shabby. Actually, it is pretty bad. It's actually not that great. But that's okay. At the very least, we'll be able to do some stuff in spider and hero form before swapping back. All right. So, and then for Wasp, she draws 5 cards as well. Alright. Alright, so yeah, a lot of the protection upgrades I have here involves taking advantage of defending, so good stuff there. One thing we didn't do, unfortunately, take care of though was the experimental weapon, so it's going to hit us a little harder, but that's okay. It goes to villain phase. The villain is going to get 2 threat. Then he's going to attack Spider Woman, which is going to use up the stun, and then he's going to attack Wasp, who I am going to go ahead and defend. So I have 2 defense. He has 2 attack right now. Gets a boost card. It's +1. Alright, so it takes 1 damage, and he takes 1 damage. Alright. Then goes to encounter card. Encounter card. Oh, the machine gun. It's actually kind of okay to get this out. Alright, so attach the crossbone. Uses, in this case, 4 ammo counters. Force interrupt. When Crossbones attacks you, you remove 1 ammo counter from this card and discard the top card of the encounter deck, and you take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. So this will happen. So when he declares his attack, he's going to do this first and then do the rest of the attack, and it's treated as a separate damage source. Now, the way indirect damage works is whenever you take indirect damage, you can spread it amongst you and your allies. So in this case, if it were to be on Wasp, I can actually split it between Ironheart and Wasp. And then your encounter card is Hydra Bomber. Choose either to take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. I know that if you cut off 1 head, 2 more will take its place, but what if it blows up instead? She-Hulk. Alright, I am going to go ahead and take 1 threat in the main scheme. Mainly because we're already kind of in control right now. Alright, so with that, we'll go ahead and we pass the rock to Wasp and get to work here. Alright, so things I want to do right now. If you're a tiny hero, it deals additional damage and becomes awesome. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to use Perseverance to play Hard to Ignore. I will die before I yield. So the way this works is if I defend and I take no damage, I can exhaust this to remove a threat from the main scheme. So while taking minimum damage, I can potentially help deal with thwarting as well. Then I'm actually going to go ahead and do Indomitable and Strength, do Pinpoint Strike. So attack, deal 7 damage to an enemy. If you are in tiny hero form, which I am, this will deal 1 additional damage and gains overkill, which means all the excess damage will go to the main guy here. So, with that in mind, you're going to want to ice that in the morning. So I'm going to do 8 damage to this Hydra Bomber. So it's going to do 2 to this guy and 6 to Crossbones, like so. All right. Then I am going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and thwart with Ironheart and get this down by 1. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and switch to. Do I want to switch or do I want to stay? Actually, I am not going to thwart. Instead, I'm just going to stay in hero form for now. It's the issue is the 6 threat to actually advance. It gets pretty messy. All right. Don't care about piercing right now, and I haven't really had time to get rid of the laser rifle. Also, I forgot to remove this counter. It should have gone away at the start of the turn. Okay. So Spider Woman. I'm going to go ahead and spend an energy. Yeah, I'll spend an energy to play Quake. After a mini Avenger Shield, 1 thwart, 2 attack, and then 2 health. Avenger Shield. After a minion schemes, you can exhaust her to deal 2 damage to that minion. I will bring this building down around you. Alright. Actually, new plan. Can I do it this way? I'm actually going to go ahead and use Finesse. And I'll use Power of Leadership to play Quake. Alright. Which I believe still counts as being played. Let me verify that. Okay, it is what I thought it was. So you're not playing Power of Leadership, you're spending it for resources, which does not count as playing an aspect card. So +1/+1 from +1 from the Quake play, but that's it. Then I'm going to go ahead and do Strength in Numbers. And what this will do is I can exhaust any number of allies to draw 1 card for each ally exhausted this way. I'm not going to exhaust anyone. I think. Is that how it works? Let's find out. I'm just thinking here. I can exhaust her and then draw a card. Yeah, why not? We'll exhaust her to draw a card. This, of course, will also make us a little bit more swole. Alright. I'm then going to go ahead and spend the Homeland Intervention and the Energy to play Mockingbird. Mockingbird, 1 thwart, 1 attack, 3 health, shield spy. After Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. You call that science. So now he is stunned again. Alright. Basic cards are not aspects, so I don't get any more pluses for that. But yeah, that did work out better than I thought it would. Okay. So I have +2 to everything, which is great. Still can't deal with the rifle, but that's okay for now. I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 3. I'll get that back under control. And then I will go ahead and switch to hero form. Or not, alter ego form. I could do Jessica Drew's apartment right now, but I'm not going to. I'll wait until next round. Because I would just get 1 card and I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. I mean, I do have 0 cost, but it's not worth the risk. Okay, so that is everybody. Let's go ahead and go to Wasp here. She's going to draw 5 cards still. Okay, and then you can ready. Alright, and then Spider Woman. You can now draw 6 because you're back into alter ego. Alright, cool. Definitely some good cards. I'll need to swap again, though, to make use of most of them. Okay. And then that is, yeah, we go straight into enemy phase. He's going to get 2 threat. He's going to attack Wasp, which that'll eat up the stun. Going to thwart against Jessica Drew, which eats up the confusion. And then we'll get our encounter cards. So you get 1 and you get 1. Madame Hydra. Alright. Madame Hydra cannot take damage while the Legions of Hydra's side scheme is in play. After Madame Hydra schemes or attacks, place 2 threat on the Legions of Hydra's side scheme. 2 scheme, 2 attack, Elite Hydra, 6 health. Yeah, we need to deal with you. Thankfully, the worst part is if you get Legions of Hydra, because that side scheme will spawn her, essentially. And then for you, Hydra Flame Soldier. After Hydra Flame Soldier makes an undefended attack against you, you discard a support card you control. 1 scheme, 1 attack, 4 health. Hail Hydra. Alright. And that is everybody past the rock. Okie dokie. let's get to work. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust Jessica Drew's apartment, search the top 5. All right. So I'm trying to see what the plan is here. Inconspicuous. So these, oh, I need 3 to get that out. Three to get that out. So I'm going to be short a card, which is a little unfortunate. We have a lot of good stuff, but not the means to deal with it. I'll take the Homeland Intervention, because I can put that to work. And then shuffle the cards. Okay. Next. I don't really have any other things to deal with right now, so I'll go ahead and go... Yeah, we'll go ahead and go into hero form. All right. Let's go ahead and discard Command Team, Inconspicuous, and Agent 13 to play Helicarrier. All right. As much as I would like to get that Finesse out, I'm not going to be able to. So I'm going to go ahead and use Finesse and Helicarrier to play, and then discard Finesse to play Monica Chang. When Monica Chang comes into play, search your deck, hand, and discard pile for a copy of Surveillance Team support and put it into play. Place 1 Snoop counter on each Surveillance Team you control. 1 thwart, 1 attack, 2 health, and of course she is a shield agent. So all of ours are right now in the discard, so we'll go ahead and get 1 out. And it's going to get, so Surveillance Team, shield, uses 3 Snoop counters, and when they run out of Snoop counters, you discard it. As an action, you can exhaust it and remove 1 Snoop counter from it to remove 1 threat from a scheme. You know what? Actually, instead of doing the Helicarrier, I am going to go ahead and discard my Homeland Intervention. Alright, so it's going to be 3, and then we get +1 because of Monica Chang. Okay. So I did play a Justice card, so that gets us up to +1s to everything. And we'll see where that puts us. We got a few options. So my idea here for the Helicarrier is to just use it on Wasp, so that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. So we'll put a little counter to represent that we did that. So next time, the next card Wasp plays, she'll get +1 for it. All right. And then let's go with... So I can deal with Madam Hydra right now. And the Hydra Flame Soldier won't be bad as long as I defend against it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and punch for 2 on Madam Hydra. I'm just seeing if there's anything I can play with here. Don't care about counter punch. Yeah, I'm just going to do 2 damage to her. So 2 damage to Madam Hydra. And then we'll go... 1, 2, 3, 4. Which will be enough to kill her. So at least she's gone for now. Alright. And I will go ahead and exhaust Surveillance Team and use a Snoop counter to reduce the main threat by 1. And that'll be it. Alright. So for Wasp, let's go ahead. So what do I need for this, by the way? Okay. Yeah. I was just taking a look at the stun to make sure it didn't trigger the machine gun. I don't think it does, but I'm going to check it real quick. Okay, it's exactly what I thought it was. It says it here. It replaces the, instead of attacking, you discard it. So it prevents the attack from ever happening at all. Okay, anyway, back to what we were doing. So let's go ahead and you're currently in hero form. That's fine. All right, well, I'll use the reduction I got from Helicarrier and Counter Punch to play the Red Room training. So while I'm Giant form, I'll get Retaliate, and while you are in Tiny form, your basic attacks gain Piercing. Okay, and that's been used. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and yeah, that gun's annoying. I'll go ahead and do Energy plus Wasp Sting to kill this guy. Get him off the board, and then I'm going to go ahead and Thwart for 1 for Ironheart. And, oops, sorry for breathing into the mic there. I will go ahead and hit for 2 damage. I have +1 attack because of the helmet, thankfully. And then I will go ahead and go Alter Ego. Because I think we'll be okay for a round. All right, we'll go ahead and draw cards with Spider-Woman here. Pretty sure I shuffled. Yeah, I believe I did. Definitely did not have Sky Destroyer as one of the top 5. All right. 1 second. Okay, as always, I make sure I shuffled, which I did. Okay, for Wasp, I'm going to discard Giant Help and draw 6. Oh, actually, sorry, before I do that, before the end of the round, rather, I am going to go ahead and shuffle some stuff back in. It's anything with a, yeah, that resource. Okay, I want to put Moon Girl. That Pinpoint Strike is actually kind of nice. I actually want the Pin Particles. And shuffle those back in. Okay. So that would have been done towards the end of their turn when I was in Alter Ego form. All right, let's go ahead and draw. So 6 cards for you because you're back in Alter Ego. Oh, good. Got the Pin Particles and the Pinpoint Strike. Not terrible. All right. We'll go ahead and need to ready and ready. All right. 2 threat. And then I'm going to be attacked by Crossbones. So first, we're going to get a boost card for the machine gun. Nothing. So the key word here is, take indirect damage equal to the number of boost icons on the discarded card. That star is not an actual boost icon. I know it's kind of hard to wrap your head around. Yeah, star icon. Yeah, so it has to be boost icons. Star icons are not boost. Even though they say they're essentially boost effects instead. All right, and then the boost effect does not happen. Is it just called star? Yeah, star icon, 33. So the way star icons work, yeah, it's just acts as a reminder whenever that enemy uses that value to attack or scheme. So this is not. So this thing is not attacking or scheming. This is just an effect. So it does actually nothing. All right, now as for the attack itself, I am going to go ahead and let it go through. So let's go ahead and get a boost icon. I think I have to declare if I am defending before the machine gun, but I'm not entirely certain. Let's see. We can find out here. They get the boost icon. Okay, no, it's after. So what ends up happening is this effect goes, then it gets a boost card, and then I decide whether or not I want to defend or not. I'm not going to defend. So what we get is +2, so we take 4 damage. Pretty big hit. I do have ways to heal, but it's not the best ways. All right, and then for you, you're going to scheme. All right, +2, so this is going to be 3, so we're up to 5. And then encounter card and encounter card. All right, in hero form, the villain attacks you. If they have a weapon attachment, this card gains surge. Okie dokie. I am going to go ahead and defend with Mockingbird. Actually, Wasp will defend with Ironheart. And then this triggers again, by the way. So we'll go ahead and do the machine gun part first. Machine gun, 1 damage. I'll put that on Mockingbird. All right, and then the actual boost itself, which is going to be going towards Ironheart. And yes, you can have your you can defend each other. It is something you can do. Yeah, if the attacking player doesn't defend, any other player may defend against the attack by exhausting their hero or an ally they control. All right, and then this would have been 3 damage, which kills Ironheart. Okay, so we've gotten through most of the machine gun. That's neat. This did get Surge, though, so because he does have plenty of weapons. Raid the Armory. Okay, Insight 1. When this card is revealed, place 1 threat in the main scheme, so it's going to advance. All right, the Infinity Stone. Inside the Project Pegasus facility, SHIELD agents fight desperately to prevent Hydra from obtaining the Reality Stones stored within. So this is going to start with 2 threat, because it's 1 per person. When revealed, reveal the top card of the experiment weapons. So we got another one, Power Gauntlets. After the attached villain attacks and damages you, discard 1 card from your hand, and you can spend a Genius and Strength to get rid of it. We are going to need to get rid of some of these. I mean, we're not going to be able to get rid of the machine gun until it runs out of ammo. And then that is it for that. Okay, and then what's this effect? Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a weapon attachment is discarded and reveal that card. That is armor, not a weapon. At least we got rid of. At least we got past those. That's the positive part. Bad news is we're about to cycle through the deck at this rate. Are there any weapons? Well, holy cow. Also, just out of curiosity. Oh my god, there are multiples of it. That's terrifying. And that's everything. From the top of the encounter deck until reveal that card. Let me check how this works again. Okay. If a card ability discards a specified number of cards from the encounter deck, or until a card with specific criteria is discarded, discard cards from the encounter deck until this card is met or the encounter deck is empty. If it's emptied this way, it's considered to be fulfilled. Okay. And then do not continue the discard effect with the newly shuffled encounter deck. Okay. So it's been fulfilled. And then this will go here. This will go here. We shuffle, and we get an acceleration token. All right, and then for you, Hydra Flame Soldier. Okay. So we already have an acceleration token, and we're already at the second thingy here. All right. Well, we got that going for us. That seems to be what always happens. I get to 5, and then I immediately draw the card to get does Insight, and then I get screwed. Anyway, let's pass the rock. Okie dokie. So what are we going to do here? I do want to shuffle more cards into the deck, that's for sure. Don't care about these abilities at all. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and activate Girl. Pinpoint Strike. And yeah, I guess I'll just do Wasp Sting, because Tough is not going to help me here. So these are going to get reshuffled in. I'm going to go ahead and go to Hero form. I am going to go Tiny. Alright, so now that I'm in Tiny form, yeah, so Tiny form. Let's use 2 Pin Particles and Murder to play Pinpoint Strike. Deals 7 damage to an enemy. If you're tiny, it does 8 damage and it has overkill. So I'm going to do 4 damage to this and then 4 damage to him. Alright. I get to draw 2 cards because of Pin Particles here, and I'm in tiny form, so draw 2. Whew. Oh, you know, there's something I did mess up on, is Wasp ability. After I defeat a minion in Sight Scheme, I deal 1 damage to the villain. I have definitely killed 2 minions now, so it should be at 7. So apologies for that. Alright. And then Black Widow is really good, but I can't really do that right now. I'm going to go ahead and use Vivian and Black Widow to go ahead and get rid of this card, because I don't want to discard. Sorry for it being so zoomed in. Then I'm going to discard Perseverance to get out Hard... Oh, actually, yeah, Hard to Ignore. That's fine. Alright, Hard to Ignore is out. And then I am going to go ahead and I'll just hit for 2 damage, putting it down to 5. Okay. Spider-Woman, this should have gone away. Alright. Let's go ahead and get to work. Let's see, how do I want to do this? I want the Sky Destroyer, but at what cost? I would love to do Pheromones, but that's just not in the cards right now. And being tough is not going to help me because he has piercing. So, I mean, the healing would be nice. Alright, what we're going to do... I can move, what, 3 threat? Yeah, I can. So that's an option, but Global Logistics handles that too. Alright. Let's do Helicarrier. What would it take to get rid of that gun? I want that Sky Destroyer. There's just no question about that. That's a thing we need to do. So yeah, Sky Destroyer. I mean, the other option... Okay, we do have an option. We can make this work. Sort of. Alright, I'm going to use Finesse and Inconspicuous to play Pheromones. I was about to put that in the discard. I was about to throw that in the trash. Alright, I get a +1/+1/+1, and I will inflict both Stun and Confusion. Alright. Next, I'm going to go ahead and punch for 2. Taking him down to 3. I'm then going to go ahead and flip. Actually, no, sorry. I'm not going to punch for 2. I'm going to do Global Logistics. Exhaust 1 shield card you control. Oh, actually, that's just this effect. Okay. Actually, yeah, that's fine. We'll do that. I'm going to exhaust Mockingbird. I'm going to take a look at the top 4 of any deck, which will be this deck. Actually, I'm just going to draw them all out, just so I can see them all. So, Shadows of the Past we don't want. The villain's going to scheme. We definitely don't want him. Okay, it's just a Hydra sidearm. Alright. We're discarding the Shadows of the Past. That's not even a question. And then I actually am going to go ahead and just leave these all on top. This is just going to end up discard the X cards at the top of the encounter deck. Okay, we can do it this way. So he'll scheme on Spider-Woman and then full auto. Oh, actually, I had the right idea. So full auto. We'll go after Wasp here. And I'll just do some indirect damage, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. And then we'll avoid the sidearm for now. Yeah, we will. I do still want to keep it in the deck because I don't want to cycle through the deck too fast. So player order does matter. So it's going to be like this. Okay. Since I played a Justice card and a Leadership, now I have 3s in all my stats. Now I'll attack, taking him down to 2. And then I'm going Alter Ego. I'm then going to go ahead and do Jessica Drew's Apartment. And thank God I didn't whiff. Alright, I'll put the Venom Blast in my hand. And then I'm going to use Helicarrier. Yeah, I'm going to use Helicarrier to reduce the cost of my next card by 1. I'm going to use that to play Sky Destroyer with these 2 cards. Sky Destroyer, shield vehicle. After you play a shield card, exhaust Sky Destroyer to deal 2 damage to an enemy. It's not often we deploy a Sky Destroyer, but when we do, that's how you know the situation is about to get serious. Alright, and then I'm going to go ahead and exhaust the Surveillance Team and use a Snoop counter to reduce this by 1. Thankfully, this won't advance until 12, which is good. But besides that, let's go ahead and do drawing cards. Alright, so you get 5. And then you get 6. Oh, I didn't shuffle. I definitely did not shuffle. But I will verify real quick before I do this. I did not shuffle. Now draw. 1 more. There we go. Okay. Not a bad. That is not a bad array. Okay, we can play with that. All right, and then, yep, that's everybody. Let's go ahead and go to Crossbone. He's going to go up to 4 because +1 now. Then he's going to attack Wasp, which is going to eat up the stun. Thwart with Jessica Drew, which is going to eat up that. Then we get some counter cards. So full auto. Take the top card of the encounter deck, where X is the Crossbones attack. So, yeah, discard X cards from the top of the encounter deck, where X is Crossbones attack, and take 1 indirect damage for each boost icon discarded. So this one and this one. So it does 4. I'll take all 4. I mean, I don't have a choice. So. All right, and then for you, it's going to be he schemes, boost card, +1, so 2. Thankfully, this thing is takes much more to get through. All right, that is everybody. So pass the rock, and let's get to work. All right, first things first, top 5. We'll take the global logistics. Okay. All right. So we have a few things we can do. First, I'm going to use Helicarrier to get out Triskelion. So now we have an additional ally slot. I think they made it tall enough. All right. I'm going to go ahead and use this Power of Leadership, which will count as 2 for a leadership card, and get out Maria Hill, since I have an extra slot now. After Maria Hill enters play, each player draws 1 card. Also, when Triskelion came out, it's a shield card. I'm going to go ahead and exhaust this and do 2 damage to this guy. All right, so we're now in phase 2. Oops, I should have clicked on that instead. That's all right. So what's going to end up happening is, when revealed, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Crossbones machine gun and attach it to Crossbones. Shuffle the encounter deck. All right, so I will go ahead and shuffle the encounter deck. I already have the machine gun, so we are good to go, because I don't think there's more than 1. There's not. So that's actually kind of helpful. That's why I wasn't too bothered by him having this out already. All right, but now he has 2 scheme, 2 attack. Everything else is still the same, and then he has 28 HP. So he's still a bit of a menace, but his machine gun's already down to half ammo. All right, so yeah, we killed him with the Triskelion of all things, and then we played this, so both characters get to draw a card, which I will happily do. Oh, right. Do I want to do it that way? Yeah, actually, sorry, I should have gone hero form first. So I would have gotten a charge here from Triskelion and get that going. All right, next, I'm going to use this I'm going to use this Genius to get out Rapid Response. It's an upgrade. Whenever max 1 per player, and when an ally you control is defeated, you can discard Rapid Response and put that ally into play from your discard pile and deal 1 damage to her. Or it. Or him. Whichever. Alright, still only at +1s. That's okay. So I'm going to go ahead and attack with Monica Chang. Or sorry, I will thwart with Monica Chang. And then that's going to kill her. And then I'm going to go ahead and use Rapid Response to get her back into play with 1 damage on her. And when she comes into play, I can search my deck and discard pile for a copy of Surveillance Team. And then put 1 Snoop counter on each of the Surveillance Teams. So this one's going to have 4, because it just came out. 3 + 1. And then this gets +1. Alright. Then I will go ahead and we've already gotten past the yeah, we've already gotten past Shadows of the Past. Okay, so I mean there's still bad cards in there, And it's really tempting. I want to look at them. But I also could do other things. So, actually, yeah, we'll do global logistics. I'm going to exhaust Monica Chang for this. Look at the top 4 cards. Okay, Legions of Hydra's coming. That's going in the discard. I don't want to deal with that at all. First player is you, and you're going to be shot at. So we definitely want this on top. And then be shot for practically nothing. And I'm not concerned about the guard. We'll actually do it that way. Okay, that works. All right, that was a Justice card, so I'm up to 2 now. And then fortunately, I do not have the symbols to do what I need to do. I'm going to go ahead and start using the surveillance teams. Put that down to 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and thwart for 3. Get that back under control. And then, yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and use the finesse and the glide to go ahead and do contaminate immunity. So, actually, yeah, I'll do that before I do the do I want to do it that way? Yeah, I'm actually okay with this. So yeah, we'll do all that. And play Contaminate Immunity, which is going to heal her for 3, and give her Tough. And technically that will get her up to plus to 4s and everything, which is fine. Actually, no, sorry. I'm going to do it the other way. So I'm going to not thwart with Spider-Woman. Instead, I'll attack with the plus 3. So I'll do 4 damage. I'll have Monica Chang thwart for 2. And I'm going to go ahead and thwart with... I will thwart with Mockingbird. There we go. Problem solved. Alright. So I'll still have all that. I did 4 damage instead. Okay. Trying to keep everything under control. Alright, sorry for all the fumbling about. Wasp. We got some things we want to get out. Go ahead and get rid of Wasp Sting and Giant Help. And Counter Punch to get out the Quinn Carrier. Alright, I'll go ahead and use said Quinn Carrier to get out Night Nurse. Too bad we could only get one of these. You don't say. Alright. Then I'm going to go ahead and it's going to get 3 counters. I'm going to go ahead and actually, what symbols did we have? Oh, I can do it. So no Night Nurse, unfortunately. I got a better idea. Spend these resources to discard this card. I'll discard this Fist and use Quinn Carrier, which is a wild, to get rid of this laser rifle finally. Alright. I'm then going to go ahead and punch for 2. Because I can. Takes you down to that. Alright. Let's go ahead and draw cards. You're going to draw 5. 1, 2, Oh, this is actually going to mess up things. That's bad, because I'm about to get an encounter card, which is already up. So that's going to mess things up. All right, and then for you, I'm going to go ahead and... Do I want to discard it? Yeah, we'll go ahead and discard Night Nurse. Okay, that helps. All right, and then let's go to enemy phase. So 3 threat, and then I'm going to be attacked. So first we got to resolve the machine gun, which will still, it'll do 1 damage. So I'll just take it. And then he's next going to shoot me. Oh, sorry, I should have readied everything. I will go ahead and opt for Wasp to defend. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. I was going to switch, wasn't I? Oh, well. Well, I'm in hero form. All right. Yeah, so this is what I'll do. I'll have Wasp defend for this one. So here we go. Boost icon. Nothing. So it does. I have 2 defense versus 2 attack. So it does 0 damage. Electrostatic armor is going to do 1 damage. And then I'm going to exhaust both Heart of 2 Ignores because I took 0 damage to remove threat from the main scheme. Okay. Then Wasp is going to get attacked. And I'll have Spider-Woman defend. Actually, no, I will have Maria Hill defend. But before we do that, I do need to resolve the next machine gun, which will finally use up the last of this. Oh, I've been doing this the wrong direction. I should have went down to 1 before. All right. So top card. No damage. All right, and then I'll have Maria Hill defend. Here's the boost icon. It would have done 4 damage, so it does 4 damage to Maria Hill and kills her. All right, let me check something about the machine gun. Okay, so I did make mistakes with Captain Marvel, unfortunately, because those things that were giving her energy, with the Spider-Man icon picture on it, those actually had uses, which means once you run out of uses, it gets discarded, which is weird. It's weird that it only mentioned this with the surveillance team, but not the other cards. But that's okay. It's probably because they were the card I was using was a later card. So yeah, I'll have to make note of that for Captain Marvel. To be honest, for those battles, it didn't really make that much of a difference. I think there was one situation where I discarded an empty one for a support effect, but that's not the end of the world. I'm just going to take the L for that. All right, so yeah, what ends up happening is this gets discarded. And Captain Marvel's a cheater, but that's okay. We all knew this. Okay, so that gets taken care of. Yeah, that's everything. Okay, then we get encounter cards. You get 1, and you get 1. All right, Hydra Soldier, and then hello, Crossbones Assault. Crossbones is a heartless killer, but he's not a psychopath. His assault on Pegasus is ruthless and efficient. When defeated, Crossbones activates against the player who defeated this scheme, and then this has an acceleration on it. Holy cow. And then this is Gang Up. When hero, the villain, and each minion engaged with you attacks you, come get some. Alright, so I'm being attacked again. So I'm going to go ahead and have... I've already defended. Not much I can do about it now. I'll go ahead and defend with Monica Chang. Boost card. Plus 1 damage, so I did 3. Alright. Bye-bye, shield agents. Okie dokie. I could have definitely defended with Spider Woman, but I kind of wanted to keep her active. Alright, pass the rock. Okie dokie. So Wasp is exhausted. That's fair. And we finally took care of all the other nastiness. Alright, well, first things first. Let's use Genius. Oh, actually, I really want that synthetic wing. Unflappable is also very good. Do I have any way? Not really. Let's just okay, I can make this work. So I'll use Genius to go ahead and get out biosynthetic wings. So I now have aerial trait, and if I'm in tiny form, I can exhaust it to prevent 1 damage. I'm going to go ahead and use Quinn Carrier, Unflappable, and Pinpoint Strike to use a Pinpoint Strike. This will do 8 damage because I'm in tiny form still. Do it to the Hydra Flame Soldier, so it'll kill him, which will do 1 damage to Crossbones because of her small but mighty. And then it does the overkill damage of 4 damage. Like so. Alright. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to Alter Ego. And I'm going to go ahead and activate Girl. Sorry, I had to put that in there first. Alright, for the cards I'm going to pick Unflappable. And what else do I want to put in there? Pin Particle. Alright, that is it for her. Alright, and this gone away. Alright, Spider Woman, what you gonna do? Let's go ahead and use Finesse and a Helicarrier to get out Command Team. This is a shield card, so I'll exhaust Sky Destroyer to do 2 damage. I'm also going to go ahead and exhaust a Surveillance Team to get rid of that last threat. And you know what, while I'm at it, so I think I don't want to get rid of the Crossbones Assault, to be honest. Alright, so that was a leadership, so I get +1. Ooh, actually, we need to do this in a different order. Change of plans. Put this back in my hand. I'm going to Helicarrier, and I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? I don't have any actual minions to get. So you know what? Strength in numbers. I'm going to exhaust Quake. That will get me my counter. Draw a card. Cool. I can work with that. And then I will discard Venom Blast and use Helicarrier. Or not Helicarrier, I'll use Helicarrier to get out Government Liaison. Hero action, exhaust Government Liaison to play a shield card from your hand, reducing its resource cost by 1. I'll have my people contact your people. Then I'll use the Sky Destroyer, which I just did. And I've already done the Surveillance Team, so we're good there. Alright, so I have +1 still, because I did Strength in Numbers. I'm going to go ahead and use Government Liaison and Finesse to play Command Team. Which will have 3 command counters on it. Which allows me to ready an ally if I really need to. And then, so I'm still at +1s. And that's probably going to be as good as I'm going to get, unfortunately. So I'm going to go ahead and punch for 2. Then I'm going to do self-propelled glide to ready and then punch again for 2. And then I'm going to go Alter Ego. and that'll be it. All right, and then you get to draw 6 cards. And then you get to draw 6 cards. All right, so far so good. Goes to Villain. Villain's going to get 4 because we have multiple accelerations now. And then he's going to scheme against Naughty Yvonne. +1, so just 3. So we're up to 7. Scheme against you. +1 goes up to 10. Counter card and counter card. Would reveal, discard, and upgrade or support you control. If no cards were discarded this way, this card gains surge. It's all a trick. At this point, I will go ahead and get rid of one of the hard to ignores. And then for you, we got it. Legions of Hydra. When revealed, if Madame Hydra is not in play, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Madame Hydra and put her into play, engage with you. Then shuffle the encounter deck. Place 2 additional threat here for each Hydra enemy in play. Madame Hydra. There you are. So, engaged with you. So, first she goes into play, and then we count the Hydra enemies. Crossbones is Hydra, so is Madame Hydra. This starts at 3, so it's going to go up to 7. Also, right now, as long as Legions of Hydra is in play, she can't be damaged. So we got that going for us. All right, pass the rock. All right, let's go ahead and get to work. So I'm going to Jessica Drew's apartment, search top 5. What are my options? I think I'm going for kill. I think that's what's going to happen. I will take the Homeland Intervention. And then shuffle. I'm going to go ahead and switch to hero mode. And let's get to work. So. Yeah. Let's go ahead and use a strength to get out finesse. I'm going to go ahead and use both finesses to play Venom Blast, which will do 5 damage to an enemy. It counts as an aggression card, so I do get a counter. I'm then going to use a Helicarrier to reduce the cost of my next card by 1. And I'm going to discard a Global Logistics to play Rapid Response, which is a Justice card. I'm then going to go ahead and actually, no, we're not going to. Yeah, that's fine. We can do it that way. So I'm at +2 right now. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 damage with Quake, because she doesn't have guard. So 2 damage. She dies. I'll use Rapid Response to bring her back at with 1 damage. Attack again for 2. I'll do Homeland Intervention. I can exhaust up to 3 shield cards. I don't know. I'll choose that one. That one. Also, she should have died there. And that one. So I'll go ahead and reduce the threat by 6. At this point, I'm just kind of flexing. 6 there. That does count as a shield card. Yeah, counts as a shield card, so I'll do Destroyer. So now he's down to -1, and then I hit for 3. So there you go. We did it. We defeated Crossbones. He definitely gets really kind of out of control with all those weapons and stuff like that. But we did beat him. Deck's working pretty well. It can be kind of awkward with Spider-Woman because you kind of have to like time everything a certain way in a certain order to maximize her benefit. So I apologize for doing any rewinds there. For Nadia, it wasn't as bad. I did kind of forget to switch to Ultra Ego a few times, but to be honest, she was kind of okay being just a defender and kind of handle things there. It is nice to have a character that is justice, so you can actually deal with the threat as necessary. And as you can see with all the upgrades and stuff, once you get the ball rolling, it definitely goes a lot smoother. Obviously, the early game was kind of a little slow, but in a kind of a good way because we were just popping pheromones over and over again to try to keep him at bay. Leaving him with his weapons definitely hurt me quite a bit, but it definitely was better than the alternative. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. I am the Depressed Dior. This was Marvel Champions with Spider-Woman and the Wasp against Crossbones. I think next is Absorption Man, so look forward to that. See you guys.